Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on VRC PYQs. We've been doing this Road to IIM, the 2025 sessions for CAT 2025. And oh, yes, I'm audible and visible, thankfully. So good. How are you all? What's happening? All right. Hello, everybody. Can you give me a quick hi so that I know I'm here and you are here and all of us can see each other. Let me send you a hi to just get it started. All right. So before we begin, let's quickly recap whatever we have done till now. We've been over the past few sessions, we have discussed the patterns of the various exams, and we have also covered different question types. So keeping that in mind, we are continuing with this series where we will be discussing different question types so that you get comfortable, looking at the questions. You get comfortable understanding them. You don't have to look at the directions every time, and that you can do these questions really well and really quickly. So that's the plan behind having all of these sessions where we are covering PYQs. Of course, the next session will be taken by Savitri ma'am on Saturday, and she will be covering some PYQs also. So yeah, here's to that. Okay, before I begin, remember, I hope all of you have already hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button till now, please do that. Also, share the session with your friends and family so that others can also join the session and take advantage of this lovely session that we are having, right? So please share. And also, I hope you have subscribed to our channel, because if you haven't subscribed, then you will not be able to comment. And I would love it if you could comment as we go along, because ultimately that's what we all want, that all of you and all of us should be on board, and all of us should be able to hear each other, talk to each other, find out how preparation should happen, what all we should be doing. Over the next few sessions, we will discuss the PYQs, and then I will start you off on reading comprehension, how to handle reading comprehension, because that's what is very important for anyone who's preparing for CAT. I hope by now all of you have already started doing your regular reading, that of at least one article every day. I have suggested this earlier also, that you must read at least one article, maybe from New York Times, maybe from Guardian, maybe from Wall Street Journal, maybe from Stanford Philosophy, okay, maybe from uh, science.com, maybe from Scientific American. Okay, all of these are wonderful sources of articles. Okay, CAT is taking articles from all of these places. So my request to all of you is that you must all read from these sources. So number one, please do a bit of reading, at least 30 minutes of reading every day, because if you are doing a lot of reading, you will get comfortable in reading, and then preparing for CAT becomes far easier for you than anything else. So do a lot of reading, number one. Number two, please work on your vocabulary also. Your vocabulary is just as important, because if you don't work on vocabulary, how will you handle the difficult words in your passages? That's why it's very important that we work on our vocabulary also. So these are two essentials that you must do. Other than that, of course, everything else we're also covering in class. All right, I hope I can see some of you are here. Let's get started with the session. Today I've got one RC and I've got three questions from different other VA types. So let's get started. Let's read the passage, and let's understand it, and then we'll take it forward with the questions. Okay, sure. So all of you, let's take some time and let's read the passage. So it says the complexity of modern problems often precludes any one person from fully understanding them. So what he's saying is, because the modern problems are so complex, so that dissuades, that does not allow anyone from understanding it. So it essentially says that the modern problems are so complex that no one understands them. Okay, no one understands them, or no one fully understands them, right? That's what he's saying. No one fully understands them. Factors contributing to rising obesity level, for example, include transportation system and infrastructure, media, convenience food, changing social norms, human biology, and psychological factors. So then he says, okay, here is a problem. Obesity is a problem, and there are so many different reasons, uh, for obesity. The multi-dimensional or layered character. It is saying multi-dimensional or layered character. So it has many dimensions to it. That's number one. It says the multi-dimensional or layered character of complex problems also undermines means weakens the principle of meritocracy, the idea that the best person should be had. Now, because a problem is so complex and so many dimensions, you cannot say that we'll hire the best person. There is no best person, right? There is no best person. So you can't say, okay, I'm going to hire the best person. When putting together an oncological, let's say you're doing a research team for cancer, a biotech company such as Gilead or Genentech would not construct a multiple choice test and hire the top scorers or hire people whose resumes score highest according to some performance criteria. Instead, they would seek diversity. They would look for people who are, into different things. They would build a, hey Jacob, thank you so much. I'm so happy. They would build a team of people who would bring diverse knowledge, bases, tools, and analytical skills. So now let's understand what the first paragraph said. The first paragraph said that the modern problems are so complex that it is very difficult to understand. And then he gives you two examples. One is that obesity thing, and the second is that if you're putting up a cancer research team, oncological means cancer related. Okay, so you cannot have meritocracy. You have to have a mix of teams. Hi, Ayush. Now let's look at the second paragraph. So the first paragraph we've understood. I hope you've made your doodles or your notes. So number one, we said complexity of modern problems. Complexity of modern problems. And then we gave two examples, obesity and oncological research. Okay, so these two. Believers in meritocracy might grant that teams ought to be diverse, but then argue that meritocratic principles should apply within each category. So, somebody who believes in meritocracy now would say that might agree and accept that teams have to be diverse. But then he would say that within the team, choose the best one. So someone who believes in meritocracy or best will say that. Thus, the team should consist of the best mathematicians, the best oncologists, the best biostatisticians from within the pool. Now, that position suffers from a similar flaw. So, when you believe that every team should have the best, then again there is a problem. Okay, so we are talking now of meritocracy. That meritocracy is not really easy. In modern problems, you cannot just believe in merit and just do it with that, right? So that's what our passage is saying. Even with a knowledge domain, no test or criteria applied to individuals will produce the best team. So even when you have a knowledge domain, if you want to apply one test and create a best team, you cannot, because everybody has different skills. Each of these domains possesses such depth and breadth that no test can exist. So one test cannot happen. Now, again, he gives you the example of neuroscience. He says upward of 50,000 papers were published last year covering various techniques, domains of inquiry, and levels of analysis, ranging from molecules, synapses through the network of neurons. So many things. Now, given that complexity, see 50,000 papers, problems have been defined. Any attempt to rank a collection of neuroscientists from best to worst, if you want to rank them, as if they were competitors in a 50-meter race, it will fail. The ranking cannot happen because everyone is doing something very specific. So what could be true is that given a specific task and composition of a particular team, one scientist would be more likely to contribute. Optimal hiring now therefore depends on context. What are you looking at, that context? These teams will be diverse. What an interesting passage we have. So we are talking of the complexity of modern problems and saying there's no one person who can fully understand them. So you have to have mixed teams. There are no best persons. You have to bring diversity. And then he says, somebody who says that I believe in meritocracy will say, okay, have diversity, but within those, get the best. But there's again a problem, because within a knowledge domain also, can you really select the best? No. So there is that problem of choice. Evidence for this claim can be seen in the way that papers and patents that combine diverse ideas tend to rank as high impact. So any paper that is having diverse ideas is high impact. And so we understand that diversity will work. It can also be found in the structure of the so-called random decision forest, a state-of-the-art machine learning algorithm. So diversity works. Now let's understand what random forest is. So he says random forest consists of ensemble of decision trees. If classifying pictures, each tree makes a vote. Is that a picture of a fox or a dog? A weighted majority rule. So random forest can serve many ends. It has many purposes. They can identify bank fraud and diseases, recommend ceiling fans, predict online dating behavior. When building a random forest, you do not select the best trees, as they tend to make similar classifications. So you want diversity. Programmers achieve that diversity by training each tree on different data, a technique known as bagging. They also boost the forest cognitively by training trees on the hardest case, those that the current forests get wrong. This ensures even more diversity and accurate forests. So again, one more example of creating high impact research through random forests. And random forests choose diversity and pick up diversity. What a beautiful passage. And then he says, yet the fallacy of meritocracy persists. So people still believe in somebody being the best. Corporations, non-profits, governments, universities, and even preschool tests score and hire the best. This all but guarantees not creating the best team. So you're not choosing the best team. It's guaranteed. Ranking people by common criteria produces homogeneity. That's not likely to lead to breakthroughs. What an interesting thought, that it is diversity and not homogeneity that will lead to the breakthroughs, that will lead to the best thoughts. Okay, I hope you got the passage. Let's look at the questions now. So I'm going to put out the question here. The first question: the author critiques meritocracy on all the following reasons except. So, which is the reason that he does not critique meritocracy? Let's take a look and let's find out. Come on, guys. I have explained the passage to you. You've got the passage. Let's try and see what the correct answer should be. The first one says modern problems are multifaceted and require various skill sets to be solved. And that is why he is criticizing meritocracy, because he says meritocracy will not help. So this is a critique. Let me write C here. So we understand that this is a critique. Okay. Diversity and context specificity are important for making major advances in any field is also a criticism. Criteria designed to assess merit are insufficient to test expertise in any field of knowledge. You can't have one test which will test everything. So this is also a criticism of meritocracy. An ideal team comprises of best individuals from diverse fields of knowledge. So this is actually something that is pro meritocracy, right? And therefore this has to be the correct answer, right? Let's see if you guys got this one as the correct answer. I will check. Yes, guys. Anyone got this as the correct answer? Okay, Samrat has got one. Anyone else? Others? All right, let's check if the answer is correct. Yes, the correct answer is 4, which is an ideal team comprises of best individuals from diverse field of knowledge. So therefore, yes, the correct answer. Very good. Let's look at question number 2. Which of the following conditions would weaken the efficacy of a random decision forest? Now we've understood that the random decision forest is something that helps, that has a lot of diversity, right? And therefore it is able to choose the right answer. So what we are looking for is something that doesn't have diversity, right? So let's look. I'm waiting for your answers. Come on, guys. Let's get your answers in. So a random decision forest has to have diversity, and only then it is a very strong this thing. It has to have sets cases which are hard to solve, right? And then only it will help. Okay, so let's look. If a large number of decision trees in the ensemble were trained on data derived from easy cases. Okay, the passage said something about having difficult cases. So I'll put a star on this. Not a wrong, but a star. If a large number of decision trees in the ensemble were trained on data derived from easy and hard cases. Well, if it has hard cases, then it would be a strong, it would be an efficient decision forest. So I'll eliminate two. If the types of ensembles were doubled, so you had more data, so it would be a stronger decision tree, so would not weaken. If types of decision trees were doubled, again we would have more data, so would not weaken. So the only one which says weaken will be option number 1 here, and that is your correct answer. All right, let's take a look at the answer and check if this is the correct answer. I haven't got any answers from you guys. Yes, 1 is the correct answer, absolutely, because you're training the data from easy cases. That cannot be a good way of training the random decision forest. All right, let's look at the third one. Which of the following, if true, would invalidate the passage's main argument? Now, this passage was talking about the fact that meritocracy is not good. Diversity is what will lead to breakthroughs, right? That is what we have said. So we have to invalidate this. That means we have to say diversity will not work, meritocracy will work, okay, or something like this. So which of the conditions would invalidate the passage's main argument? So something that would invalidate the diversity argument, right? So let's take a look. Let's read and find out. I'm giving you guys a minute to read through the options and then find out and tell me. If the assessment tests were made more extensive and rigorous, then there would be more diversity. So the diversity argument would not be invalidated. So eliminate. If top scorers possessed multidisciplinary knowledge that enabled them to look at the problem from several perspectives. So the meritocracy thing would work. So this supports meritocracy. So this could be an answer. If it were proven that teams characterized by diversity ended up being conflicted about problems and take a long time to arrive at a solution. Well, they would end up being conflicted, but does this really say that diversity is bad? I'll put a star on this. Okay. I'll put a star on this. This says diversity is not a good thing. Look at 4. If a new machine learning algorithm were developed that proved to be more effective, well, this is not the issue. The random decision forest was not the issue that we were talking about. That's not the main argument. So let's eliminate this straight away. So I've eliminated options 1 and 4, and I'm stuck between options 2 and 3, where 2 says that meritocracy, if there is merit, then people could also look at this, look at different views, look at diversity also. So 2 somewhere says that meritocracy in itself involves diversity, and then that kind of throws out the just meritocracy or just diversity argument, and therefore 2 is a very good choice of answer for us. 3 can be the next best choice, but not the best choice, because 3 is just saying that these teams end up being conflicted and take a long time, but they do arrive at a solution. So it is, the timing may not be important. Sometimes you have to take time. So therefore, 3, let's eliminate 2. Better answer than any of the others. Let's look at, okay, yes, 2 is the correct answer. Let's look at the next one. Question number 4. On the basis of the passage, which of the following teams is likely to be most effective in solving the problem of rising obesity level? So which of these will be most effective team? Let's take a look. I'm waiting for your answers also. Come on, guys. Amisha, what you do is look at the question, break it up, see what is the passage saying. Okay. Once you've understood what the passage is saying, then you start breaking down the argument. Now, in this question, in the last question, we did eliminate 2 options and then we came to the next 2 options and we said both of them work. But the problem was that we were trying to deny the meritocracy issue. And that happened better in 2 than in 3. 3 just did not consider the meritocracy issue. And that is why we just had to do away with that, right? So best choice was between 2 and 3, 2. If I didn't have to, I could have gone with 3 also. All right, let's take a look. I've got only one answer for this question. Question number 4, Samrat has said 2. Let's take a look. Which of the following teams is likely to be most effective in solving the problem of rising obesity level? I need a team that is very diverse. Okay. So let's take a look. A team comprising of nutritionists, psychologists, urban planners, and media personnel who have each scored a distinction in their respective subject test. Okay. Distinction. I'll put a star on this. Nutritionist, psychologist, urban planners, and media personnel. The next one says a nutritionist, psychologist, urban planners, and media personnel who have each performed well in their respective subject test. Okay. Our specialized team of nutritionists from various countries, who also trained in machine learning algorithms. This is irrelevant for us. Why would they be most effective in solving the problem of rising obesity level? Eliminate 3. Look at 4 also. We are eliminating this also. Just some knowledge of psychology. No, there are many things that are required in obesity, right? So therefore, if you go back to the passage here just for a moment, see, the first paragraph we had spoken about the problem of meritocracy. And we had said, the problem of rising obesity. We said transportation, infrastructure, media, convenience food, social norms, human biology, and psychology. So many things were involved, right? So, therefore, when you're trying to solve this case, you need to have multiple people in the thing, right? So, therefore, we said nutritionists, psychologists, urban planners, media personnel, etc. Okay, so 3 and 4 we were able to eliminate. Between 1 and 2, we are looking for a team which will have people who perform well, not necessarily the best people. So who has each scored a distinction and who have each performed well in their respective subject test. Well, distinction is not just the only thing. Please understand, it may mean that you are the best, but does it mean that you will work really well? Not necessarily. So between 1 and 2 also, 2 is a better choice for us and therefore your answer. Okay. All right. 2 is our answer. Yes. So broadly doing well rather than just the best. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next question. Here is a para jumble. We have to read these sentences and then identify what the correct sequence will be. Let's take a moment. Okay. So the numbering is incorrect. This is statement number 4. My bad. Okay. Let's read and let's try and identify what the correct order will be. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to read this and then we will discuss. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this set. So the first statement here spoke about universal basic income being an ineffective instrument, and that it cannot address potential breakdown of the social contract. The second statement said in the era of industrial revolution, abolition of child labor, poor laws, growth of trade unions helped the families cope with the pressures of mechanized work. And three says growing inequality could be matched by a creeping authoritarianism, which is bolstered by technology that is increasingly able to peer into the deepest vestiges of our lives and understands everything. New institutions emerge which recognize ways in which workers could contribute to and benefit by economic growth when rather than if their jobs are automated. So, we are talking of a situation where jobs will be automated, everything will be online, and new institutions would come out in those situations. So, we start with four, which is a very good introductory sentence. We say, okay, four is a good starting point for us. Then we go to, so from four, we now come to the historical context. We say in the era of the Industrial Revolution, abolition of child labor, poor laws, growth of trade unions helped the families cope with the pressures of mechanized work or with that of industrialization. Then he says, however, in the era of the smart world, now see this beautiful contrast between industrial revolution and smart world, right? So one comes, the UBI is not a good instrument. It cannot help, okay? Because large swaths of population will not be employed, they will not have work because there will be smart working, and smart working means there will be far fewer jobs. So one happens, and then finally we come to sentence number 3, which says what could be the result. So growing inequality and then creeping authoritarianism, technology that is all the time watching your lives. So 4 to 1 3 then becomes the sequence here or your correct set of statements. Okay, so we started with 4, the introduction of this, the new world. Then we came to the past, the industrial revolution. Then we said, okay, but that's not what is happening now, right? And then finally we said, okay, what can happen? So that was the sequential flow that came here in these sentences 4 to 1 and 3. Okay, so we got that 4 to 1 3. Let's look at the next question. The next question is a summary question. There are 4 summaries given to you. Again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to read and solve. Okay, so here you are. Your 2 minutes begin now. All right, let's take a look at this question. Uh, So this passage is a very interesting one. It talks about a Japanese government panel announcing. So there is one panel which is announcing that it recommends regulating only GM organisms that have foreign genes permanently introduced into their genomes, and not the ones where endogenous genes have been edited. Now, the only condition here is that researchers and businesses will have to register their modification to plants and animals with the government, except for microbes that are cultured in contained environment. Now the reactions are mixed. People may like it, may not like it. While lauding the potential benefits of genome editing, an editorial opposes the across the board permission. They're saying, oh, you should not give permission to everyone. Unforeseen risk in gene editing cannot be ruled out. All GM products must go through the same safety and labeling processes regardless of the method. So you have to regulate everything. You cannot say because endogenous genes are edited, don't regulate them. You have to regulate everything, right? So that's the thing. So let's take a look. Option number A says, one says a government panel in Japan says transgenic modification and genome editing are not the same. Well, it doesn't say that. Okay. It doesn't say just that. So one is actually incomplete. Creating categories within genetically modified products in terms of transgenic modification and genome editing advances science but defies laws. But does it really defy law? Again, this is incorrect factually. So I cannot take this. Exempting from regulations the editing of endogenous genes is not desirable as this procedure might be risk prone. Well, this is okay. I'll put a star on this. All right, sorted. Sort of okay. Accepting microbes cultured in contained environment from the regulations of genome editing is premature. No, wait, the passage does not say that it is premature. The passage says there is a problem. So 4 is also incorrect. The best of these options is option number 3, and that's why it should be your correct answer. Though it's not the best answer, but the best of all. All right, let's take a look at the answer here. Correct answer is 3, absolutely. Let's go to the next question. Question number 7. 4 sentences will be arranged. One is an odd one out. You have to identify which one is the odd one out. Again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. All right, guys, let's take a look at this one. So here are 5 sentences and there's one which is an odd one out. So which one? Let's take a look. Okay. So the first sentence says, as India looks to increase the number of cities, our urban planning must factor in potential natural disasters and work out contingencies. So we are talking about urban planning and increasing the number of cities somewhere. Authorities must revise data and upgrade infrastructure and mitigation plans even if the area hasn't been visited by a natural calamity. Okay, so we're talking about disaster planning, right? Extreme temperatures, droughts, forest fires have more than doubled since 1980. There is no denying the fact that our baseline normal weather is changing. It's no longer a question of whether we will be hit by nature's fury, but when. Very interesting sentences. Now, look at this. It is talking about the fact that there is very little urban planning that configures disaster planning also. So 1 and 2 both talk about disaster planning, right? And 4 and 5 both talk about nature, the climate change, right? Only sentence 3 is not connected. 1, 2 are connected, 4, 5 are connected. 3 is the only one that's not really connected. And therefore 3 has to be the odd one out or your correct answer. Okay. I hope you guys got it. And I hope we are all on the right path. Yeah. So that's the correct answer. Guys, I hope all of you have hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that right away. All right, I can see 4. Yes, very good. But I hope you're understanding that these are connections and very beautiful connections, right? 4 and 5 is a very beautiful connection, and 1 and 2 is a very beautiful connection, right? 3 is the only one which says that temperatures, droughts, and forest fires have doubled, but why they haven't given you the reason. So, is it really because baseline normal weather is changing or something else? We don't know. And that's why 3 is the odd one out here. Okay. All right. We will end the session here. Oh, correct answer is 3. Yes. Okay. We'll end the session here. Next session, VRC previous year questions number 8. I will see you again, same day, same place, same time. Please make sure that you put it in your calendars so that you come and join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. Okay, we must make sure that we are doing this regularly on a fixed pattern. No, option 3 can be connected to natural calamities. Absolutely. But can it be connected to the natural change in weather that is happening? That the weather pattern has shifted. That we cannot connect to. Okay. So that's the only problem. All right. With that, we come to the end of today's session, guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you again soon, next Thursday, 1 p.m. And we will discuss some more PYQs so that you get used to solving these. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.